Sheriff Clemmons, Richmond County Sheriff's Office, and we've called this press conference this morning to inform the community that John Rillo is now in federal custody and will be facing charges on August the 1st, 2014 in Greensboro, North Carolina. This event started on July the 11th, where he eluded arrest from one of our officers here in Richmond County, and the manhunt ensued up until yesterday, where he was caught in Montgomery County, North Carolina, and placed under arrest. There are several agencies and multiple officers that were involved in this incident, and at this time I'd like to notify you on who those agencies were and let you know how it went. Montgomery County Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Dempsey Owens; Richmond County Sheriff's Office; Rockingham Police Department, represented by Chief Billy Kelly; North Carolina Department of Public Safety, North Carolina Highway Patrol First Sergeant Andreas Dietrich; Candor Police Department Police Chief Randy White; North Carolina Air National Guard; Troy Police Department; Mount Gilead Police Department; Bisco Police Department; Pineland Resources on man tracking; North Carolina Department Safety, Corrections K-9s; North Carolina Emergency Management, Richmond County and Montgomery County; East Rockingham Fire Department, Mountain Creek Fire Department, Candor Fire Department, Derby Fire Department, and last but not least, the citizens of Richmond County as Norman, North Carolina, Ellery, North Carolina, and Windblow Community, North Carolina. As we said earlier, John Rillo was arrested on yesterday, July the 24th. He is now in federal custody and will face charges in Greensboro, North Carolina on August the 1st of 2014. And he was arrested in an area in Montgomery County near Sable Lane and US 220 in Montgomery County. Any further questions?
During the arrest, I think I was reading, the deputy had put handcuffs on him and he managed to run away, or what happened when the deputy first tracked him down? Because you guys were looking for him, right?
We were looking for him under the ATF task force. We have officers assigned to our ATF task force, which gives us that jurisdiction pretty much to go and look for those individuals that we have in our county or near our county with federal warrants. And that's what started the whole episode, and one of our officers arrested him, and pursuing in the process, he pretty much just got away.
Did he get away with the handcuffs on him? Or?
Yes, ma'am. He had the handcuffs on him, and he managed to, during the time that he was out on the run, he had an opportunity to enter a church. And in that church, somehow, he got one of the handcuffs off at that time because we found the broken handcuff at that particular location, so we knew that he was there. And we concentrated our search on that part of Norman and the backside of Candor going towards Montgomery County.
Was the deputy injured?
No, the deputy was not injured at the time.
And where did that initial thing take place? At his home?
It took place at his residence at 2013 Cemetery Road in Montgomery County.
Okay. And talk about, you said you wanted to thank the citizens. Did they play a role? I mean, how are you tracking this guy? Obviously, you have a lot of different agencies here.
What we have here in Richmond County and Montgomery County, which is a great asset, is our emergency services management. And we do what's called reverse 911, where we notify all the residents by telephone to let them know what's going on, why they see so many cars in their community, and what was going on, and giving out the description, and if they see anything, to contact Richmond County Sheriff's Office or Montgomery County Sheriff's Office at that point. And it was just a great effort all the way around by all the citizens, and giving us tips and receiving tips on where this individual may be. And also one of our local businesses, McDonald's, helped provide us with water and food during this time of our search that was going on because of the multi-agencies that were involved.
And as far as I know, when Captain Childers sent out the initial release, there was mention that he could have a bulletproof vest, he might be armed. I mean, is he a dangerous individual?
Anyone that's on the run from federal warrants, you have to consider that they have a propensity to be dangerous. Now, when he was arrested, none of the items that were discussed in the early part of the communique that went out were true. He did not have these items on possession when we captured him yesterday.
And how'd you guys track him down to that pond in Montgomery County?
Well, there was information that was given to us that he was at a local residence or attempting to get into a local residence, and that individual called us to alert us to where he was, and officers converged on that area. But the real asset in this deal was the North Carolina State Highway Patrol, Air Patrol. They were the ones that spotted him. The first sighting of him, actually after being sighted by the Air Patrol, was one of the local Highway Patrol officers that gave foot chase at that point, and they chased him to a local pond, and officers converged, and it ended that ordeal. And at this time, I'd like to give the podium to Sheriff Dempsey Owens, who his agency was very instrumental in also the capture, along with Camden Police Department, Chief of Police, and also Rockingham Police Chief and Andreas Dietrich, First Sergeant with the North Carolina Highway Patrol. Sheriff Owens.
Morning. My name's Sheriff Dempsey Owens, Montgomery County, North Carolina Sheriff. We was made aware of this on July 11th. We was contacted later after lunch on that day, it was on a Friday, that Richmond County was trying to search for federal warrants, and the guy had ran from the scene at that time. So we assisted Richmond County in searching, and then that started pretty much a 2-week quest to apprehend this guy. And he's actually part of our county. We've seen him several times, and I've got one of my lieutenants with me over to the Detective Division. And he was also suspect in several of our break-ins that we've been dealing with over the past probably 3-4 months. And you know, so we assisted Richmond County, and it kind of strung out a lot longer than we wanted it to, because that's obviously we got to protect the citizens, but that's what sheriffs do to each other. We look after each other. That's what law enforcement does, because it's our responsibility, to serve and protect and keep the, do what's right and keep the criminals away from the good folks. And so it involves several different of my officers and my shifts. As far as the deputy sheriff, we patrolled that area a lot. I know we had direct contact with the Chief Village of Richmond County. As far as the sheriff's office, me and him talked on the phone several times, because my agency is a lot smaller than Sheriff Clemmons, and we just was actively looking. The one thing I think really, we've had several break-ins that every time we'd have a run-in with this man, not directly, but he would be gone by the time we get there, or we come afterwards, and several things. I think personally he's done some break-ins in homes, trying to get some food. We've found outbuildings broken into, food sitting on the table like it's thawing out after coming from the freezer. We had one house that was broken into that had a bunch of military knives and stuff. And as we was in the chase over the past two weeks, we recovered several pieces of stolen property, stolen 4-wheelers from Moore County, stolen pickup truck, which we got in the chase with on Winston Ide on Wimbledon Road, which is just in the same general area where he was located. A couple of my deputies spotted him and ensued after him. He jumped and ran. About 1 o'clock in the morning, I think, and ended up, that's where it kind of went from there, and he didn't have time to really get his connections back in order, I don't think, and with the Highway Patrol coming in with their air support and all the other agencies that Sheriff Clemmons mentioned, it's really been, it turned out good. I just wish it happened 2 weeks ago, because it's a lot of work and a lot of tired people, but that's what we do. At this time, I pretty much, I got Lieutenant Kelly Howe, which is my detective supervisor, and if you have any questions for him as far as some of the stuff we recovered, some of the stuff we're still, because there's going to be a lot of charges that we also put on Mr. Rillo, because we caught property in his possession when he'd leave this place, and we'd still like to talk to him, but I found out this morning he's in federal custody, so now we'll just have to wait and see if we can get a hold of him and talk to him.
So I was going to ask what made this guy so slick, in managing to elude you all for 2 weeks. And is it because you feel he was like breaking into these homes along the way and kind of taking what he could and moving on, or?
Well, pretty much all the information we have, I think he's pretty much a hunter, a country-style, survivalist-style person. He liked camouflage, a lot of camouflage. The majority of the time that we had calls in from the citizens of the county, Montgomery, and of course Richmond would call me, that we would get there, and this is his home neighborhood. So pretty much he's like his own background playground, and so backyard playground, and you know, the church that the sheriff alludes to is right there at the county line, right below his house. And so, you know, I think the majority of the time he stayed in a common area, but now he was definitely a runner. There's no telling how many miles he covered over that night between the chase and the time he was captured yesterday. So, they're definitely probably pretty tired now.
Sheriff, is there a cost, is it too soon to ask for a cost for this between all the investigating agencies?
You know, my agency, most of my people was on shift when all this took place. Yesterday evening, we did call some extra personnel out. I got one of my detectives, Clemmons, which he was there when he was apprehended, one that did go out into the middle of the water and apprehend him. I would say, you know, I can't put a dollar figure on anything because it's hard to do that because it's just, it's really hard to say. Because, I mean, you're looking at 2 weeks of trying to do our job and trying to catch this guy. And it is a tremendous cost to everybody because it's a cost of business. And, you know, I don't know what Sheriff Clem and his agencies got involved and any other agencies, but pretty much, you know, I'd have to go back and look at the timesheets and things. Probably, I don't really have that much extra money put in it, but I just got a lot of man hours. If we took it away from regular shift work or something and added it up, yeah, it would add up to a large number, probably.
Sure. What your deputy was the first to put hands on him at this point?
As far as I know, yesterday when he was in the pond, Detective Clemmons, which is here today, and him and two other deputies from Richmond County, 2 highway patrolmen were there when he was apprehended.
What was his demeanor when apprehended? Was he cooperative at that point? Did he raise his hand and say, "Okay, you got me," or was he less than that?
I don't know directly. I would say he probably, you know, man running for 2 weeks probably is not going to just turn around and say, "Hey, I'm done," you know, because I mean he's going to go to the end. But obviously he was in the middle of the pond. I guess he probably thought that we wouldn't come and get him, and you know they did. They went into the water and they ended up apprehending him. So. You know, I don't know, then we turned him straight over to Richmond County Sheriff's Office.
Is it fair to say, though, getting back to the money question, that it's been in the thousands of dollars that this has cost taxpayers?
I wouldn't doubt
This
it.
guy? Okay.
I wouldn't doubt as a lump, yes.
Sure.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Sure.
Wouldn't doubt it at all. But I mean, you know, that's a hard thing to put a price tag on.
Right.
Okay. Anything else?